Now, we need alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right, just a different
Plurals.
blend. You need
Blends.
the ladies, you need the booze.
You need some water.
For watering plants? What?
No, I don't know if guys have noticed this, like a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They
Right.
just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta
right.
keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
Yeah.
rock with me, but just
Right.
check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot
Heat.
of heat. Yeah.
Heat, you mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning. Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting. What are you doing?
Depends on the way you look at it.
People start getting it gets kind of sexy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you sexy.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for all those in London that don't know what happens to the white man when he comes to a P. Diddy party, this is what happens to the white man.
It's so unfortunate.
You gotta pull back though, so they can see. That's crazy. Matt, move out the way. You're still alive. Look at that. Look. Would you?
With a drink on his head.
And that's James from Simeon Mobile Disco. He is a actual DJs aren't supposed to pass out, but when they come to one of my parties, this is what happens to them. I put him to sleep.
Next day, right?
You put the drink on his head.
There it is.
Damn.
I recently revealed a hidden side of Sean Diddy Combs, one that most people would never imagine. Newly revealed information reveals that his lifestyle wasn't just about fame and fortune, but also a dark world behind the scenes. The most shocking details came from Elizabeth Obson, a woman who claims to have been gifted by Diddy in 2001. I realized later on that I was gifted by him, she recalled, recounting a steamy night with music executives that ended with an early morning meeting with Diddy. At the time, Diddy was at the height of his career, having just gotten over his breakup with Jennifer Lopez. But Obson, known for her explosive memoir, Confessions of a Video Vixen, reveals that what she found was more than just a music mogul. Diddy's world was a place where anything was possible, she says, hinting at a world of endless parties, power games, and dangerous secrets. She remembers nights at his villa where champagne was flowing and you could take your drug of choice, but the scenes she saw behind closed doors still haunt her. While these wild stories about one of hip-hop's biggest stars are hard to believe, Obson's report sheds light on a side of Diddy that has remained hidden for years. What really went on in his villa, and what does this tell us about the dark side of fame? Let's dig into the complicated story of Diddy's secret double life. Who is Elizabeth Obson, and why was she gifted to Diddy? Elizabeth Obson didn't meet Diddy by chance. In 2001, fresh from a breakup with Jennifer Lopez, Diddy crossed paths with Obson under unusual circumstances. She recalls that night vividly. She had been out with some music industry executives in Los Angeles, a night filled with partying and excess. "We were popping pills and drinking," she says, describing how it all felt surreal. The night was coming to a close when Diddy's car pulled up, and instead of an introduction, the men spoke for me, she explains. It was then that she realized she had been gifted to Diddy. She remembers feeling both mesmerized and uneasy. Diddy was, after all, one of the biggest stars at the time, a man whose influence could open doors or shut them just as quickly. "In retrospect, I realized that I was given to him as a gift by another executive," she explains, suggesting a world where people were traded as favors among powerful men. As unsettling as it sounds, Obson knew this was an opportunity. She was entering a world few people ever get to see, a world where status and power reigned supreme. She walked into it with her eyes open, determined to find out what lay behind the glitz and glamour. What she found was a side of Diddy few would recognize, a world that was darker and more complex than anything she had imagined. Up next, she shares what went on behind the doors of his mansion. Behind closed doors, the unimaginable luxury and darkness of Diddy's world.
Disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, once known for his lavish lifestyle and living large in his multi-million-dollar mansions, has a new home as he awaits trial in his federal sex trafficking case. Last week, the Bad Boy founder's defense team unsuccessfully fought to keep the music producer out of federal jail after his arrest. Now his new digs once house other high-profile inmates, including R. Kelly, Fetty Wap, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Diddy is currently housed at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, a stark difference from the glitz, glamour, and wealth in Hollywood and Star Island in Miami Beach, Florida. But MDC Brooklyn has been described as hell on earth, with horrifying conditions. The facility, which now houses Diddy, opened in the early 90s.
There's no question. People who know they're going to prison who have been on medications, either illegal or illegal, it would be wise to understand The Bureau of Prisons might not prescribe you what you like, and if you're taking illegal drugs, unless you're engaging in the prison hustle, you're not going to get it. It would be easier to get the drugs and engage in the prison hustle in general population, but not when you're on lockdown for 23 hours a day. So certainly it is a brutal adjustment if you are on no drugs, but certainly if you are withdrawing, isolated 23 hours a day without getting things that you can get the snap of a finger, it makes the decision or the process that much harder, which is why I can assure you, based on what happened with Epstein, the high profile nature of the failures of this prison in the past, including some judges not even sending prisoners there because they were so concerned about their safety, you can expect staff is watching him, not 22, 23, 24 hours a day. They do not want more problems.
When Obson stepped into Diddy's world, she wasn't prepared for what she would find. His mansion was like something out of a movie, filled with extravagant decor, expensive artwork, and people who seemed to float through life without a care. But beneath the opulence, she sensed an undertone of something darker. It was the height of hip-hop success, she recalls, but there was this feeling that anything could happen. It wasn't just the material wealth that amazed her, it was the attitude. There was a sense that the rules didn't apply here, that limits didn't exist. She remembers one party in particular, a night where everything seemed just a little too surreal. It was like a scene out of The Great Gatsby, but with a twist, she says. There were men in tuxedos, women wearing angel wings, champagne flowing everywhere. But this wasn't just about the visuals. In the bathrooms, people engaged in acts that left her questioning the boundaries of decency. You choose your pill, you take your champagne, and that's your vibe for the night, she explains. This world was about more than just the wealth. It was about power. Diddy held control over everyone in the room, and they all seemed eager to please him. Obson saw how easily people would do anything to stay in his favor, and it made her uneasy. From here, she started seeing the people around him in a new light, wondering how far they were willing to go.
What's up? Check this out, y'all. I am not about to be addressing every last thing that's going on in the world on the internet. But the thing I do have to address is this White Lives Matter t-shirt. I've always been there and I will always support my brother Kanye as a free thinker. But the White Lives Matter t-shirt, I don't rock with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with it. And with the press and with fashion is doing, thinking it's a joke. But right now, all America has planned for us is poverty, incarceration, and death. So before I could get to any other lives matter, which all lives matter, you know what I'm saying? That Black Lives Matter, don't play with it. If you don't wear the shirt, don't buy the shirt, don't play with the shirt. It's not a joke.
Parties that revealed his chaotic lifestyle.
He got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now, I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bro, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy Camp.
Final chapter of Diddy's legacy as more celebrities come forward. The freak-off parties, what really happened at Diddy's Miami mansion.
Sean Combs is focusing on things he cannot control. He will have a miserable experience. When he can call home, when he can visit, the living conditions, exercising maybe an hour a day, showering a few hours a week. If he fixates on that, it is going to be miserable, and every day will feel like a year. On the other hand, if he can learn from those who have come before him and master the experience, my business partner served 26 consecutive years for a nonviolent crime, including 8 years in the penitentiary. He never complained. He focused on his family, trying to prove worthy of the love and support of his family. If he can do that, the experience, it won't be easy. I'm not insane. It will be more bearable. The choice is up to him.
And as far as we know right now, he has been kept in solitary confinement, or the SHU right now, and he's been on suicide watch. How different is that experience from being in the general population?
It's much harder. If you like to be around people, you like communication, if you're an extrovert, and then suddenly you were isolated 23 hours a day on total lockdown, I'm not spinning that it's difficult. It will test the strongest mind, but he has to understand others have gone through it and emerged successfully. And what he and his lawyers have to understand is they have like a messaging problem. They continue to say things that do not get them closer to what they want, which is bond. It's led to indictments. And if he can begin to introspect and kind of reverse engineer some of his choices and recognize it is my decisions alone that have led me here. And if I can communicate differently moving forward, maybe the ultimate sentence, even if convicted, could be better. Perhaps could lead to bond eventually, but it can be very difficult in segregation. And his lawyers have to stop blaming and excusing and talking about how difficult the experience is, because here's what a judge is going to say. If you were so concerned about what these filthy living conditions would be like in a detention center, if you were so concerned about your safety, you wouldn't have obstructed justice. You would not have, according to the government, created victims over a sustained period of time. Until he changes his message, more problems are going to follow.
And Diddy allegedly has been accused of using different drugs in the past. Even prosecutors have said on the night he was arrested that there was allegedly pink cocaine in his hotel room.
One of the wildest stories Obson shares involves Diddy's infamous freak-off parties at his Miami mansion. She describes these events as a mix of opulence and hedonism, where guests dressed up to the nines only to strip away any sense of decency. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen, she says. Men in tuxedos, women barely dressed, and Diddy at the center of it all. But the glamour was only a facade for what was happening behind closed doors. These weren't just parties, they were experiences designed to push boundaries. Inside the mansion, the scene was even more chaotic. There were people everywhere, she explains, and the vibe was intense. Guests moved from room to room, sampling drinks, drugs, and more, with little care for who was watching. Diddy had created a space where he could do whatever he wanted, and others followed his lead. She recalls one specific moment when trays of pills were passed around like hors d'oeuvres. You chose your vibe for the night, whether it was ecstasy or something else, she says, painting a picture of a night that felt more like a fever dream than reality. But the most disturbing part of these parties was what happened in private rooms. Obson says there were stories of people being taken advantage of, sometimes in ways that crossed serious lines. As she left, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was something profoundly wrong about what she had just seen. Next, we look at Diddy's complex relationships with the people in his inner circle. More than just a bad boy, Diddy's dark side revealed.
A lawsuit filed against Sean Diddy Combs accuses the music performer and executive of rape, physical abuse, and sex trafficking. The singer Cassie says the incidents occurred throughout her 10-year relationship with Combs. Her suit was filed under a law that allows alleged sexual offense victims to file past the statute of limitations. Cassie says she wanted to speak out before that law expires next week. Mr. Combs has denied all the allegations. For more, let's bring in entertainment attorney Dante Mills. So Dante, thanks for being with us. Cassie has signed with that label when she was just 19, and Sean Combs was 37. What's alleged to have happened after that?
Thank you for having me, Catherine. So in this lawsuit, I just wanted to be clear, this is a civil lawsuit. This is not a criminal lawsuit. There's no chance here as we stand for Sean Combs to go to jail. It's a civil lawsuit about money. And the claim is that during their relationship, he was physically abusive, that he required or demanded that she perform certain sexual acts with other people while he was there, and that he in fact raped her shortly before she left him. She said she did not want to have sexual relations with him, and he forced himself on her. That's the basis of this lawsuit. and why it's moving forward. Now, you were right to talk about the fact that this lawsuit was brought in New York because these things happened years ago. So the statute of limitations is gone most places, but in New York, they had this law where they opened it up for a year and said if you're a survivor of sexual assault, you have a year to bring your claim, and that expires next week, November 23rd of this year.
Okay, so you've handled several high-profile cases. What would your defense strategy look like?
Absolutely. I have a lot of high-profile clients, and the first thing that comes to mind when we get these lawsuits in, not just of this nature, but any of them, is that the people are about money. This is a civil lawsuit, and at the end of the day, Cassie would receive money if she wins.
For many, Diddy is the ultimate music mogul, a man who built an empire on talent and charisma. But Obson's stories suggest a more troubling side. She claims that Diddy had a tendency to be controlling, especially with the women in his life. He could switch from charming to menacing in an instant, she says, describing moments when his temper flared unexpectedly. This wasn't the Diddy the world saw on TV. This was someone who could make you feel small and powerless if you crossed him. She shares one story of a night when Diddy lashed out at his then-girlfriend, leaving Obson shaken. It was scary, she recalls. I'd never seen someone go from calm to furious that quickly, but Diddy's influence extended beyond his personal relationships. She says he used his power to control everyone around him, from friends to business partners. People knew that if they wanted to stay in his good graces, they had to play by his rules, she explains. This side of Diddy made her question everything. Was his success built on more than just talent and hard work? Obson started to wonder if his empire was held together by fear as much as admiration. As she navigated this new world, she began to see that Diddy wasn't the only one hiding secrets. His friends and associates had their own roles to play in maintaining his image, and the more she learned, the darker things seemed to get. Celebrity enablers, who were the friends covering for Diddy?
Clues of what was allegedly behind the curtain began to emerge in November when Diddy's former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, sued the mogul in federal court on allegations of rape and a decade-long pattern of physical and sexual abuse. The singer, who was previously signed to Diddy's Bad Boy Records, claimed the rapper was controlling of every aspect of her life, including where she lived, what she wore, and even her medical records. The suit alleged several instances of abuse committed by Diddy, including battery, rape, and forcing her to have sex with male sex workers. The suit also claims Diddy used intimidation to control the R&B singer, including allegedly having someone blow up another rapper's car after Diddy learned he was interested in romantically pursuing Cassie when they were on a break period from their relationship. The suit also alleges Diddy became violent, beating Cassie multiple times each year. In one instance, Diddy allegedly pushed her into a car, then proceeded to kick her in the face repeatedly. In another claim, an intoxicated Diddy allegedly gave Cassie a black eye after she tried to leave a hotel room. The hotel security camera footage captured the incident, but Diddy allegedly bought it off for $50,000. Those weren't the only instances of alleged intimidation. The suit claims Diddy dangled Cassie's friend over a 17-story balcony and asked her to carry a gun in her purse. According to the suit, Cassie never went to the police and tried to leave their relationship multiple times, but was too afraid. The suit stated several Bad Boy Records employees turned a blind eye to the physical abuse and beatings Cassie allegedly endured, but no one spoke out in fear of their boss. According to the suit, Diddy supplied Cassie with different drugs, including ecstasy and ketamine. The suit claimed Cassie suffered from memory loss from the constant substance abuse during her relationship with Diddy. The documents also say her MRI results were sent directly to Diddy. The suit was ultimately settled a day after it was filed for an undisclosed amount.
Obson reveals that Diddy's inner circle included some of the biggest names in the music industry, people who had a lot to gain from staying close to him. These were powerful people who could make or break careers, she says. Among them were artists like Irv Gotti and Ja Rule, who she claims were often around during his wildest moments. She suggests that they knew about Diddy's secret life, but chose to look the other way. They had too much invested in him to let the truth get out, she explains. Obson describes how these friends acted as a kind of shield for Diddy, helping him maintain his public image while hiding his private behavior. They were always there, ready to back him up or cover for him, she says. It wasn't just about friendship, it was about protecting their own interests. By staying in Diddy's good graces, they could share in his success and avoid his wrath. This loyalty went both ways, as Diddy often helped his friends climb the ranks of fame and fortune. But as Obson saw it, this loyalty came at a price. By enabling Diddy, his friends were complicit in his actions, helping to create a world where he could do as he pleased without consequences. This realization made her question not just Diddy, but the entire circle that surrounded him. What other secrets were they hiding? Next, she takes us deeper into her tangled relationships with Diddy and other famous figures in his orbit. Romantic connections, Diddy, Jay-Z, DMX, and more. The truth behind the scandals.
Hey kiddo, what are you doing? Just having a little drink before my car picks me up. Where are you going? I'm gonna go to join Diddy. He's doing that. Rick Ross is doing a little concert this afternoon. Really? Your boobs, honestly, they get bigger. You know, I just lifted this bra up. It's like night and day. I need to have my boobs sitting up at this level at all times. They were like down to here. That's life-changing. Life-changing, but it gives me back fat. Gotta pick or choose your battles. That's what I learned in my life. Yeah. So why do you care to go to this? Because I was invited and I think it would be fun. When are you gonna act your own age? It's like rap crew, like Rick Ross and Diddy. Do you think this is like your crowd? I know a thing or two about rap music. Who is the boss? Me? No.
As a result of being around that man, Sean Puffy Combs, I don't sleep to this day. I have a problem sleeping to this day. Like, yo, man, I'm here to work, man. I ain't sang in a week. I mean, I'm 13 years old, and I'm telling him, look, you're gonna put me in the studio, man. You got Biggie Smalls in there, you got Craig Mack in there. I'm not here to party with you. I don't wanna go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? We would fight, we would tussle.
Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
What the fuck did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this for me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid.
Obson's time with Diddy was far from her only connection to hip-hop's elite. In her memoir, she reveals relationships with big names like Jay-Z, DMX, and even Vin Diesel, but these were more than just flings. These weren't trysts, she says. The majority of them were relationships that lasted for years. She explains how these men played pivotal roles in her life and how her experiences with them influenced her perspective on fame and power.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. It was,
So nobody
it was crazy.
tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Uh-huh.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans,
And your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary J.
okay?
Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And what kind, do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like,
What
like
a
a living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
Diddy, things were complicated. She describes him as both magnetic and intimidating, a man who could draw people in but also push them away. Her other relationships, however, were often more grounded. There was a different dynamic with each of them, she says. Some, like Jay-Z, were more private, while others, like DMX, shared a raw vulnerability that she found refreshing. But these relationships also revealed how fame could complicate even the most personal connections. Obson's accounts paint a picture of a world where love and loyalty are often at odds with ambition and ego. She suggests that in Diddy's circle, relationships were as much about status as they were about affection. There's a lot of pretending, she explains. People want to be close to the power, but they don't want to see the truth. This realization would come into sharp focus as she watched Diddy's relationship with Jennifer Lopez unravel, a story she shares next. Did Obson really cause Diddy's breakup with J-Lo? One of the most shocking claims Obson makes is that her presence in Diddy's life may have contributed to his high-profile breakup with Jennifer Lopez. She remembers the tension in the air during a party at Diddy's house shortly after the infamous club shooting incident in 1999. J-Lo was there, looking every bit the superstar, but there was a distance between them, she recalls. Obson describes how she and Diddy began to spend more time together as his relationship with Lopez crumbled. He confided in me in ways I wasn't expecting, she says, hinting at a deeper connection. She suggests that her role in Diddy's life during this time was more significant than people realized. I wasn't just a fling, she explains. We were close, and he trusted me. This closeness may have created friction between Diddy and Lopez, eventually leading to their breakup. Obson believes that her presence revealed cracks in their relationship that were already there. I don't think I caused it, she says, but I definitely played a part. Reflecting on this period, she wonders how different things might have been if she hadn't been in the picture. Did she really play a role in ending one of hip-hop's most iconic relationships? It's a question that still lingers in her mind, even as she shares her side of the story. Now, as we move toward the conclusion, Obson considers what it all means. Her past, her choices, and the secrets she's kept. Shocking accusations, abuse, betrayal, and Diddy's darker side.
The nigga Puff was like, yeah, like first he was amping him to get stop. Then he was like, yo, so when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we could just hang out, nigga. We gotta kick it. This is Puff. Okay. He telling me we gotta kick it and shit. And he was like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like I pay for it. And I was like, what the fuck this nigga just said? I got the fuck away from him because I was like, this nigga fucking. This nigga just tell me he'd take me shopping. And this is shit that goes on. But there's your little fruit pie. It's a fruit pie. It's a fruit pie. Trust me. You see these little weird ass pictures and shit like that out there, sitting out there for no reason. You don't see accident pictures of me like kissing niggas. Like that doesn't happen by accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Look, later you gonna find out a little shit that I be saying. Do you understand what I'm saying? Man, listen, I'm trying to tell you the truth. But the truth, sometimes it hurts. Right. It hurts people and they don't want to hear that shit. But I'm trying to tell you, nigga asked me, could he take me shopping? And it fucked me up because I'm looking like, what the fuck did this nigga just say? I want to take you shopping. I got a bankroll out this motherfucker. I want to take you shopping. Why? Because when you walk around looking so motherfucking good, I'm going to feel like, God damn it, that motherfucker with me. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. But when a nigga tell me he want to take me shopping, what the fuck is the matter with this nigga?
Wait, hold on. Well, where was this at?
This was at the wedding.
Right after the wedding. I'm beefing with Steve Stout, and Puff is telling you he's going to take you shopping.
After the shit was over. Swear to God. Swear to God.
Everybody going to want to be at Chris Lady's wedding right now. Everybody going to be like, yo, I was there.
And I'm bugging because look, while they was sitting there at the wedding, like I'm like this, look, because they hit. Right. Both Stout and Puff.
Elizabeth Obson does not shy away from discussing the dark side of her experiences with Diddy. She recounts unsettling moments that reveal a pattern of abusive behavior and manipulation. He could be charming, but there was this other side, cold, controlling, and dangerous, she says. One incident stands out vividly in her memory. She witnessed Diddy allegedly attacking his then-girlfriend Cassie during one of his infamous parties. I didn't watch the whole thing. It was very triggering, Obson admits, describing how the scene stirred up painful memories of her own abusive past. Obson suggests that Diddy's dark side was no secret among those in his circle, but most people chose to stay silent. He had power over them, she says, implying that his influence was so strong that people would rather look the other way than confront the truth. Obson's experience speaks to a broader issue within the music industry, where power often protects those who misuse it. She shares her story not to condemn, but to shed light on what she and others have endured. Obson believes that by breaking the silence, she can empower others to come forward. It's not just about Diddy, it's about a culture that enables men to get away with anything, she explains. The chapter closes with a question: how many more stories like hers are waiting to be told? Her insights into this darker world set the stage for her final reflections on the price of fame and the resilience of women. The hidden pain: why some men can't love women. In one of the more introspective moments of her story, Obson reflects on the underlying issues she sees in men like Diddy. She describes a world where men in power often seem to despise women, using them as objects rather than seeing them as equals. It's men who hate women, men who hate who they are, she says, suggesting that some men's abusive behavior stems from a deep-seated self-loathing. According to Obson, these men resent women because they envy the freedom to be themselves, a freedom they feel they lack. She explains that Diddy wasn't alone in this. He was just one of many men in the industry who hid behind a mask of hypermasculinity while secretly battling inner demons. They don't love women, most of them want to be women, and they hate us for it, she claims, making a powerful statement about the toxic undercurrents she witnessed in the industry. This wasn't just about Diddy, it was about a culture that allowed men to project their insecurities onto the women around them. For Obson, speaking out is her way of breaking the cycle. She hopes that by sharing her experiences, she can help other women recognize the signs of this toxic behavior and stand strong. As she nears the end of her story, Obson reflects on what she's learned and why she believes it's so important to share her truth. This sets the stage for her final thoughts on the strength and resilience of women. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the real stories lie hidden in the shadows, waiting for the courage of someone like Obson to bring them to light.